And remember, there is no like
Bilantor!
This isn't a commercial.
I know, that was just a declaration of love.
I guess it's just destiny. The last thing I'm going to review in every wave is going to be Drago. Hey everybody, this is Kohdok here, and finally, the final Ultra for Wave 3. We have, finally at long last, Pyrus Dragonoid Ultra. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this thing. I know I've been waiting for this thing, but it's finally here, and we finally get to talk about it. So, this is the Ultra version of Dragonoid, who is very chunky in his regular form, but as you can see, even from the packaging, very, very different in his Ultra form. He, like Trux Ultra and Nilius Ultra, has the long legs, which maybe make him a bit difficult to stand, but that's why he has these large things coming off the side here. So, taking a look at this, this is the Bakugan Ultra Dragonoid. It, of course, comes with a Magic Shield and a Fire Fist. We already basically know everything we need to know stat-wise about Dragonoid Ultra, thanks to the Booster 3-pack he came in with the oversized card. So, I didn't really need to go much about that here. Pretty typical packaging, Battle Brawlers, Complexity Level 2, although I do have a problem with this packaging, because it recycles the image of Dragonoid Ultra that is being used with all of the other booster packs, all the core booster packs. And the thing is, a lot of people in stores, a lot of the store employees are getting confused as to which is which price point is which. And they are different price points. You have the $7 price point and the $10 price point, but all of the $7 price point use this exact same image. So, if just for the sake of helping it stand out or helping every people know that it's special, it might have been better to have used a different image for this version of Dragonoid Ultra, which would help distinguish it against the other figurines. Otherwise, it just looks like a slightly larger version of the regular pack, while the others have that nice, distinct artwork. Anyway, we again have Battle Brawlers. Apparently Wave 4 is finally starting to hit. That should also say Battle Brawlers on it. It might say Resurgence. I'll have to find out. I'll have to find some pictures of the booster packs. On the back, pretty standard stuff. We have Dragonoid. It just says Dragonoid. Normally, that's because it's its default attribute. Normally, it'll actually list the attribute. Baku Ultra, Baku Core's ability card and character card, which is going to be the ability card is going to be a Battle Brawlers card, as we know by now. It also shows off some more of the Wave 3 on the back. These are all Wave 3 Ultras that, to my understanding, except for maybe for Gortheon here, are sold in singles. Maxitor and Chaos, which I might have to pick up at some point. Aurelus Fangzor. I've also seen a Fangzor Ultra in Darkus. Crocelios in its canonical Aquos. And Gortheon in Ventus. I know Gortheon Ultra is out in Chaos. I don't know if it's in a single pack in Ventus. It might be in a 3 or 5 pack in Ventus. But anyway, yeah. Difficulty 2. How do you roll Bakugan.com? Cards, images. Anyway, we've been anticipating this guy for a while. Pretty much from the beginning. They teased him at the original, like, the big Bakugan get-together that I wasn't invited to. I mean, I know why. I'm going to keep that private. Don't ask why I don't think I was invited. It's probably not what you're thinking. It's something totally unrelated. I guarantee it. Anyway, let's get this thing open. And here we have the contents of Pyrus Dragonoid Ultra. So, the idea of Dragonoid Ultra is that it seems to be a really high-octane character. A lot of people say they're worried about the Titan Dragonoid that comes with Maximus Dragonoid being some sort of upset with how it breaks the power curve. Well, Dragonoid Ultra already breaks that power curve, being a 505. At a 505, that means it's throwing around 10 points, which is normally something reserved for the realm of Aurelus. And the Titan Dragonoid to come with Maximus Dragonoid is a 703, which is also a combined 10 points. Perhaps the higher B power offsets it a bit. 500 is average, but 5 damage on top of 500 is pretty ridiculous. It also comes with a Magic Shield and a Fire Fist. And just like with the Dragonoid Ultra, the gigantic character card that comes in the pack, it does indeed, again, come with the Max Power, plus 650B Magic Shield, and plus 250B, plus 3 damage Fire Fist, which are the highest boosts you get, for the highest combined total stat boosts you get from these single cores. Although a lot of you, I am sure, if you've been collecting the cards as crazy as I have, you already have several copies of these cores because you've bought several copies of Dragonoid Ultra. And the Dragonoid Ultra card, is it just me or does the card actually look a little different? Maybe it's because I'm seeing the smaller version of the card, but if I remember right, the actual, like, the full-size card actually has a smaller picture of Dragonoid Ultra here. Now, this image of Dragonoid Ultra, it's a lot more energetic than the one they have for the default Dragonoid. He's up in the air, he's roaring, although we've seen this picture all over the place. It's the picture that they're using in the promotional artwork along with Dan, and it comes with the card Implosion. Destroy an enemy card, an enemy energy card. Fury, if you have no cards in hand, destroy 2 energy cards instead. It's literally maybe 2 meltdowns for the cost of meltdown, of the cost of 2 meltdowns. Meltdown is cost 3 for the same effect. It's essentially Stone Rain. Destroys an energy card, destroys an opponent's resource. This one is especially expensive for the amount you get. Like, even Pyrus Domination does this better, and that's a 5-cost flip card. So, not a very good card, but at least it's a rare card, so it's one that's a bit more difficult to get than others. So, at least it's not complete garbage. Anyway, taking a look at Drago here. Interesting thing about Ultra Drago here, because despite him being an Ultra with all that implied added complexity, his exterior is very, very, very straightforward and simple. A lot of broad, flat color, and not a lot of complexity, although that's because we are looking at his wings. Although one thing you will notice is that his wings and his body seem to be different shades of red. And that is because the wings are actually made out of orange plastic and have been painted red. Maybe not the most consistent coloration here, although the wings seem to be the only point of deviation when it comes to the color. And you could argue that it's like, you know, it's the wing membrane, so of course they're going to be a different color. So I imagine in the unfolded model, it will not be distracting. Of course, the elephants in the room, though, are these gigantic hinges here, which look like they even sort of start to get in on the tire. Like, you can see the nubs coming out there. This might be our first true case of Alto Brontes disease, with how these nubs kind of exceed the normal boundary of the tire. And of course, these gigantic fins here, these, I assume, have the purpose of allowing Dragonoid to be able to stand when it fully unleashes. That is the gimmick of the Bakugan Ultras, after all, is that they jump up and into the air when they are spun. You can see a little bit inside there, a bit covered up by the wings there. I mean, I like the nice, strong use of the Pyrus orange, sort of a creamsicle orange being used on these wings here. It really stands out and pops, and you know I love that contrasting color. I can't get enough of that. It does clash a little bit against the lipstick red. I actually kind of like this sort of softer, like orangey red that happens when they paint it over the wings. I actually kind of like it. I mean, they're using a lot of the really deep colors on the plastic so that the colors of the other plastics and the paints really stand out, and I do appreciate that. But I actually kind of like this slightly, you know, this is kind of like the big heavy lipstick red. This is kind of a lighter, like, sort of blood red. I actually kind of like that a bit. It would be interesting to see what would happen if they sort of converted to that color on a full Bakugan. Kind of reminds me of the old, like, Bakugan Dekas and stuff like that. Anyway, let's see how this thing opens with its nice serpentine belly design here. Oof, this guy is a pain to roll. Just a quick note, if you roll this guy, make sure you roll it so that he winds up facing you when he unfolds. Otherwise, there is a really good chance that he will just jump over the core and not pick it up. That happened a lot. I guess maybe that's part of why his stats are so high, is because he is definitely the most difficult Bakugan to roll I've seen so far. Nilius might be pretty close. It's either between this thing or Cornelius for sheer difficulty in rolling. Anyway, here is the fully unleashed Dragonoid Ultra. As you can see, the magnet, rather than having the spring mechanism we've seen before, it's instead sort of a backpack that the magnet is contained in that acts as the spring mechanism. And yeah, it definitely rolls and stands up. I don't know how much of an impact these little fins have on that effect, but yeah, it very quickly snaps to attention when it unfolds itself. It does look very nice. It is nice to see that this thing can fully transform and flip over the core. Although it is an incomplete transformation, it takes one additional step. You have to bring out his arms there, these little, like, T-Rex arms he has there. But yeah, otherwise, here is what we've been waiting for, the Dragonoid Ultra, Pyrus Dragonoid Ultra. As you can see, it has that that sort of green crystal buried in a cavity in its chest, the green crystal we see. It also has some green on its knees here to go with a lot of the orange that really pops out. The head has a surprisingly nice and detailed sculpt to it. It doesn't actually contain any sort of springs or mechanisms of that nature, but you can see that detail on the head there. It is like really show accurate. I really love all the added detail that went into this. I mean, it doesn't have like a big chunky head like Trox does, but there's a lot of nice and crisp detail on this design here. And the horn, like Pegatrix, is actually, it's not spring loaded like it is with his default form. It's a nice and fully formed horn. We of course have the B power 500B. We have some nice detail on the underside of the wings. Very simple design. Although, like I said, because of the use of the orange plastic that they then painted over, you can see how the red is affected by that. The tail, even though it actually looks like Halicore, this isn't actually the thing that holds everything together. The tail is actually one of the first things you fold down. There's a little look at his dinosaur arms, which have the painted elbows. The head again. We have another look at the crystal, which I don't know why it reminds me of a Lucky Charms marshmallow. And we have some nice dabs of orange paint that go along the tail to give it a nice, segmented look. That's something that's been interesting with a lot of the Bakugan, particularly in the shows. They actually almost look insectoid, like they're covered in like a shell, like a carapace. Like they look like they're all like some sort of insectoid creature. I don't think we've had any like fluffy or fuzzy Bakugan yet. I mean, even Kubo just kind of looks like a big old wad of something. Anyway, back to business. What would a review of an Ultra Bakugan be without a comparison to its core form? So here is the little chunky Dragonoid compared to the Dragonoid Ultra, although hilariously the core form actually has larger arms and hands, like the big brutal arms that we see Dragonoid use in the regular show. Although you can tell the difference between the use of the red plastic and the orange plastic, and how the orange plastic gives that nice detailed look on the wing. And I didn't notice this before, but it's actually reversed. It has an orange border on the top side and a red border with the orange membrane on the reverse side. That's an interesting design choice. I mean, it helps it stand out. The orange definitely really stands out against the red when you look at it from this side. Maybe not so much from this side. Then again, how often are you going to be looking at Dragonoid from below? Obviously, you should be looking at him from behind as he leads you to victory, right? Anyway, they both have that sort of chest symbol, that sort of recessed design. You can see a lot of design similarities between these two. They both have the sort of large rounded shoulders on the front. They both have the head that rests in the chest that conceals that sort of green marking on the inside. But again, the basic Dragonoid has a much simpler design. It has the very basic wings with the large prongs that reach forward, and of course, it to its advantage does not require any additional steps to fully transform, unlike Dragonoid Ultra over here. So Dragonoid Ultra is probably the baggiest of mixed bags. He has these tiny little arms. His base marble form, I mean, it does have some eye-catching colors thanks to the good design work that went into the aesthetic, but it doesn't really have the prettiest marble shape or the easiest to roll marble shape, which is probably the risk-reward that comes with giving it such a powerful character card despite having no additional effects. And I'm actually not sure what Ultra Dragonoid's evolution cards are like. That's something I'm actually going to have to double check. I mean, we know that this guy, despite having way lower stats, has access to the incredibly powerful Titan Dragonoid evolution, which is a 5-cost 3012 if you have Dan Kuzo in play. This guy, I mean, the base level of 505 is very dangerous. It's something that your opponent is going to have a very difficult time dealing with, and it looks really good. Despite the base, my misgivings with the base marble form and the fact that this is perhaps the first one to actually have a bit of a design flaw that affects the rolling mechanism, it is still a very impressive design. I'd rather the designers be more expressive with their designs. I'm really coming around to a lot of these. I mean, definitely my favorites are still the ones that are like perfectly round when they're in their marble form, ones like Tertonium or Pegatrix or ones like this. But this one, it still looks very nice. Like I said, a lot of people have been waiting for this one, and now we get the chance to show it off. You just want to make sure that you roll it so that it faces you when it transforms. That way it is far more likely to actually pick up the core. Although, something I do have to mention is that since this is considered Dragonoid and this is considered Dragonoid Ultra, they are considered to have different names. So if you want to run both of these characters in a single Pyrus deck, you actually can. You can practically build a Dragonoid army. Once the Maximus Dragonoid comes out and you can get the Titan Dragonoid, you can make a pure Drago, a pure Pyrus Drago deck, should you so decide. So that's going to be a fun opportunity, I'm sure, for a lot of fans to be able to build a pure Drago deck that follows the rules of the game. Anyway, that's going to be exciting. So apparently Wave 4 is already hitting the West Coast. Jeez, I'm just catching up now with Wave 3. This is... oh man, this has been a lot to deal with lately. Anyway, maybe I'll see if I can get some friends on the West Coast to help me get some of this stuff early. Anyway, that is a look at Dragonoid Ultra. Giving him a quick close-up here. It's just the head in here. His legs do this... well, we have to curl up the arms first. His head goes in like that. You have to sort of curl up his legs into his shoulders in a kind of weird way. He scrunches down like he's doing a squat. Then, oddly enough, you bring in the tail. Bring in the tail, close that up, close the wings. Oh, the tail, like Halcor's, can be a bit rebellious. Then you close the wings, and then finally you bring down the backpack to close him up. Well, I guess that works for complexity level 2. It's nothing terribly intimidating. There aren't really any steps that you can really screw it up unless you put the wings down before the tail, which is definitely doable and it can definitely get locked in there. But yeah, that is a look at Pyrus. Oh, Dragonoid Ultra. Yeah, there he goes. See, he doesn't necessarily always hold on to the core, which I guess that's supposed to add to his risk-reward factor with the fact that he's like nothing but high-octane stats. Anyway, that is a look at Pyrus Dragonoid. So hopefully I will be getting something interesting in the mail in the near future that I will be able to show you guys. But anyway, until next time, that is all of Wave 3, except for Tertonium Regular, who I'm going to save for Wave 4 because he's only in 5 packs and I don't want to spend that much money on a single Bakugan. And this is Kohdok signing off.
Bakugan Brawl, it's a big brawl. Bakugan Brawl is for it all. Bakugan Brawl, standing tall, we're the awesome ones. Powers in our hand, take a stand, saving everyone.